What's up, guys? If you're a dog owner and you've always wanted a dog that listens perfectly in any environment, on or off leash, welcome to the most immersive YouTube series for dog training on YouTube. I'm Austin Laramie, owner of Zero to Hero Dog Training, and we are recording every single day, day 1 to day 46 of her whole training experience, from knowing nothing to being a master. This series is going to teach the everyday dog owner how to successfully live and train their dogs to have the best relationship and give their dog the best life possible. So stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, put on the notification bell. We're posting multiple times a day for the next 46 days. I'll see you there. Woo! Oh. Come on, bye, 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 bye. Woo! All right. Piper, Piper, yes, good girl. Cool, guys. So, my wife's telling me to take the shoes off. Yes, baby. Again, we're doing all this raw, unedited footage, man. We're not editing any of this. So, yeah. So, it's day 3. I want to start getting her familiarized with her markers. If you guys see my videos, you know that when I say yes to a dog, they come flying to me. And it's a good time. So before she understands the marker, I have to teach it to her. So that means I have to say the word, I have to take 2 seconds to pause, and then I have to give it to her within a second after me saying it, 2 seconds. So I'm going to say, Piper, sit. Yes, good girl. Piper, sit. Yes. Good girl. So right there, right, I say yes, 1, 2, then I move. I move backwards with my hand down because I want yes. I want her to understand that she's released and she can come to me for the food. I don't give it to her in position. If I want to give her something in position, I'll say good. So again, I'm going to do it again. Piper, sit. Yes. Just like that. You see that? That's how we do it, man. And she's going to learn this, and through this word, you can teach a dog anything. Piper, sit. Yes. Before I really add the stay, I teach the command first. But she came to me already knowing sit, so I can ideally start working on the stay portion of sit right now if I want to. Yes. I didn't ask her to sit there. Still reward her. Piper, off. Good girl. Piper, ready? Pipe, sit. Yes. Good girl. Good job. The whole goal is not to teach the sit here, it's to teach her the word yes. Piper, sit. Yes. And how I'm doing this too is the moment she sits, I'm saying yes. So she also understands the moment she does it, that's when she's correct. But I could easily start teaching down without saying down, right? She doesn't know down, but I'm not going to work on that today. You guys will see that probably tomorrow a little bit. Or later tonight, you never know. But again, I'm going to tell her to sit. Yes. And because she knows the sit with this dog, what I'm doing is just, when I tell her to sit and she doesn't do it, I'm adding some leash pressure already. I usually don't start doing that, but she knows it. So again, I don't stick to the same thing with every dog. Every dog for me is different. I go at their pace and what they know. Where most people go on a strict plan, where we're going to do this day 1, day 2, right? I don't do that. Yes. Is the reason why we get dogs super far in 6 weeks is because, you know, we do it this way. So, not saying I'm better than anybody or anything, but yes, it's just how I do it. Good girl. Yes. Good job. By the way, we are using some high value treats mixed with her regular kibble because she's nervous. So when you get a nervous dog, they're not really willing to eat that much. So that's when I might up the kibble a little bit or up the treat reward, whatever. But most of the time I don't like using treats. I use dogs' regular food. And again, when I'm teaching markers, which is one of the most important things to teach a dog. I mean, you really need a marker to train a dog, in my opinion. So that's one of the first things you got to do. When I'm doing it, I usually don't use the sit because the dog doesn't know the sit. I usually just use their name. And then the second they look at me, I mark and I reward. Thing about markers, yes and no, is you have to do it the moment your dog's doing something wrong or good. Like if my dog gets up on the counter, and I see him doing it, and then he gets down and walks away, and then I go over to him and I say no, too late. But if he gets up on the counter, and the second he gets up, I say no, and then I pop his leash, he'll associate getting on the counter to the correction. But if my dog takes off after a dog, and then I tell him to come, and then he decides to come back to me, then when he gets to me, I say no, and I pop his leash, I didn't correct him for going after the dog. I just corrected him for coming to me. So timing is important, right? Sit. Adding that pressure because she's not sitting. Yes. She has a prong on too, so it's very, very light pressure here. But again, for me, there's really no corrections for obedience right now. We're not correcting her for anything, not punishing her for anything. Piper. Yes. Right there. I like to use dog's distraction. She was not focused on me. She was sniffing the ground. I said her name. She decided to look at me. I rewarded her for that, while also getting to teach her the word. Piper, sit. Yes. And mind you, when I'm saying her commands, I'm not doing this. I'm not going sit. I'm completely still and neutral when I say it because she knows it. But let's say she didn't know sit. I use food to lure things. So again, just to show you guys, if I want to start teaching down, I'm not going to start saying down. I'm going to take some food and I'm going to get her to go in that position probably 100, 200 times before I ever tell her down. So let's say I want to teach her down right now. How I started is I'm taking some food. I'm not saying anything. And I'm putting it in her nose and I go like this. And the second she does it, I go, yes. And then I stand up and I let her eat the reward. So that's how I do it. But now that she knows sit, I'm not using any food. I just say the command. If she doesn't do it, I add a little bit of leash pressure. Sit. Yes. Good girl. Sit. Yes. Yeah, she's very, very sensitive to the prong. And that was like, I mean, the tiniest bit of pressure there. Really, I could make the links a little loose. I could add a link, make it a little looser, a little less like bitey. But she came to me with a prong, so she should be sensitized to it. Sit. Yes. Good girl. Good job. Good girl. Now this rep, because again, I don't like to make my sessions very long, but this rep, I'm going to surprise her. I got a tug toy in my back pocket. She doesn't know it, but she is very toy driven, which we found out yesterday. So this next rep, I'm going to reward her and surprise her with the toy, and I'm going to play a little bit. I love to play at the end of every session, man. Build that bond up. So I'm going to say, Piper, sit. Yes. Good girl. Yeah, that's a good girl. There she goes, right? Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Oh, oh, oh. That's a good dog. That's a good dog. I'm going to take her treat pouch off because I don't want food to fly everywhere. And I'm going to take her off the prong because I don't want her to get pinched. I'm going to put her on the slip leash. Good girl. Yeah. Let me put this on you. Good girl. Again, we always play with dogs on the leash. Oh, she dropped it. Woo! Yeah, get it, girl. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Ah, yeah, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. This house is too small to play in here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, good girl. Just like yesterday, right? She wins, I let her win, and I let her chew it a little bit. She brings it back. Good girl, and I engage. Good job. Oh. Woo. Woo. Good girl. She brings it back, I re-engage. Good girl. There's no rules with the game right now. I'm not teaching her a drop or anything. Oh, yeah. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Ah. Good girl. Yeah. Yeah. You hear how she's growling? You want to get her amped up. Yeah. Good. Good girl. Cool. We'll probably do like 3 more minutes of play. Make her stop at the max peak of her play. And then, yeah, we'll put her away. Let her get some water. And yeah, we'll start recording in a little bit for another session with her. So yeah, guys, if you like the series so far, help me out and like the series. And if you want to sub to the channel, you're going to see her whole progress. You're going to be one of the first people to see a series like this. One of the first series on YouTube. So check it out. Putting it all out for free. If you got a dog, you're going to want to see the rest of her progress. I'm telling you right now.